Yo, what's up guys, Boss here, and I'm back from the YouTube video, and this time we're going to be playing the Season 15 Global Tournament. So this Global Tournament is actually 5 days long, which is pretty crazy. Normally it's 3 days long, so there's extra time to play it. And as I normally do, the first video I make of the Global Tournament is usually getting all the rewards with what in my opinion is the best deck to use in the Global Tournament. So obviously, I think the best deck in this meta is pretty clear. I mean, let's just take a look at Global here. We have number 1 in the world using the deck, number 2 in the world using the deck, and then number 3 using a pretty similar deck. So pretty clear that this is the best deck in the meta. I mean, it has been the last couple of months, and I mean, there just isn't too many counters to it. It's a cycle deck. You have, a decent amount of outplay potential. 3.1 is a fairly cheap elixir cost. You have Fisherman, which you can activate King, with. And you just have a lot of outplay potential with the Fisherman in general, pulling things away from your RG. Hunter's so good against most win conditions, especially against air. And overall, it's just such a well-rounded deck. And then Heal Spirit, of course, just heals everything up. Made a lot of videos on this deck, and, might as well take advantage of it while we still can, because I feel like with how strong it's been the last couple months, I feel like eventually something in it is going to get nerfed, but we'll have to see. So before we get in the first game, if you guys want to use my creator code BOSS, we really appreciate it. You can use it in any Supercell game. Help support me, help support the channel. It means a lot. But let's go ahead and get into the first game. We're 11-0 right now. Going to be going to 15 wins. And because there's still 3 days of this global tournament left, I'm definitely going to be making at least one more video on it, possibly even 2. So let me know what decks you guys would like to see me use in the next video. Maybe I'll make a video getting to 20 wins. Maybe I'll make one getting to 25 wins. I'll have to see. I do have my main account as well as my mini account. So what I might do is maybe on my mini account get to 20 wins with a deck, and then on my mini or main 25. Because I'm planning on streaming the global tournament as well. So I'll have to see which account I use my mini or main when I stream, and then when I record which one I use. I could always switch it. I guess it doesn't matter too much. But anyway, we see a Barbarian Hut. Barbarian Hut is typically not really something you want to see, but you can still get around it, especially if it's Elixir Golem. If it's Graveyard Barb Hut, that can be kind of bad, but Elixir Golem isn't too bad because I feel like you just have a lot of ways of dealing with it. The Fisherman and Hunter are very good in this matchup. We can even go ahead and Fisherman. So Elixir Golem away. I'd like to, if we possibly can, to kill this E-Drag because it's kind of annoying to deal with. But even if we don't kill it, I think it's okay because we're going to take his right tower and probably take his left tower here because he's low on Elixir. In fact, we could even win right now. I think we won. He's so low on Elixir. We're going to take his left tower, and he's barely made a dent in my towers. I mean, this is kind of what happens if you're playing Elixir Golem and you try building a push in single. You're just going to get punished. It's not really a deck that you want to be, making your main pushes in single Elixir. It's one that you're really supposed to be waiting until double or even triple in some matchups, but this guy, for whatever reason, decided to eagle him in the back at the beginning of the lane and at the beginning of the game, and we punished him pretty hard for it, to say the least. Like, at this point, we can't really RG on the King Tower because he obviously is the Barb Hut down, but, like, we just have to defend and then we win pretty much. I'm just going to go for a Fireball to kill this E-Drag and take out most of the Baby Dragon. Heal Spirit should heal up the Hunter. Healer's going to die, so he pretty much lost all hope for building up a solid Golem push with the healer dying. And at this point, I'm just going to go for the 3 crown. We have a lot of support cards, and this was just a pretty easy win for us. It is definitely, I would say, our matchup. I typically beat E-Golem when I use RG. Just the Hunter and Fisherman, Skeleton Dragons all get so much value, especially if they don't have a Fireball. Like, this guy has a Poison, and some E-Golem decks don't even have a Fireball or a Poison. Some just have small spells like the Tornado and the Bar Barrel. But this guy had a Poison, which is definitely pretty strange. But really nice and easy for us. We pretty much, that was over in the first 30 seconds of the game, to be honest. So here we go. We found our next game. Let's just go ahead and heal Spirit in the back. And then Skeletons. I usually make the first move. He's going to Musketeer, so we'll just Fireball it. And then see what he wants to do. Okay, we'll just log that. And then I'll just place... Okay, that's perfect. He just used so much Elixir. So I'm actually just going to RG. And then play Skeleton Dragons. And then we'll see what he wants. Okay. He's using... I actually made a video on this deck, so I know what he's using. He's using Goblin Cage, Fireball, and... Is there something else he hasn't used yet? Well, he has Goblin Cage, Fireball. What else am I missing? We already saw his Royal Hogs, Heal Spirit. But I know he has Fireball and Goblin Cage, so we're going to watch out for that. And then I can't remember... Sometimes this variant has Log, sometimes it has Bar Barrel, so... That's up for debate what he has for a small spell, but I'm confident he's got a Fireball. Alright, I'm just going to Hunter this Musketeer, log this side, and I'm not going to worry about any of the other damage. Because he was so aggressive, I'm going to go aggressive myself. I'm just going to go for a Heal Spirit. He's probably going to Goblin Cage. No. Well, there it is. Very late. Maybe he lagged or something? I don't really know, to be honest. I just am gonna go Skeletons to take care of the Goblin Brawler. And Fisherman this Musk. That wasn't actually a very good Fisherman because the tower's not even hitting the Musketeer, but it's okay. It still kills it. And we're looking pretty solid here. We got about half of our health left on both of our towers, so I'm feeling pretty confident going into double Elixir that we can defend and just walk away without losing one of our towers. But things could get a little dicey here with him having, you know, the recruits, obviously, and the split lane pressure. But I think we should be fine just because we have Skeleton Dragons, Fireball, a lot of splash, a lot of good ways for dealing with the Royal Hogs in general. So I'm going to see if I can maybe even take his second tower, just apply a little bit of pressure because he was pretty aggressive with that Fireball. We'll just Fireball those, go with the Log, and then Heal Spirit just to distract that Musketeer. And we're actually going to get the 2 crown, which is really nice because I think I normally say this when I make a global tournament video, but it really is an important thing to remember. If you guys are going for that top 1,000 global tournament badge, or even trying to go for a top 50 finish in the global tournament, it's important to get as many crowns as you can, because that's the way the tiebreakers decided. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If you look here, you see people with the same amount of wins, right? This guy has 31, this guy has 31. So you can see it goes by crowns. So sometimes you might have the same enough wins to get top 1,000, but if you don't have a lot of crowns, you can actually, you might not get it compared to other people with the same amount of wins just because they have more crowns than you. So it's very important to, if you possibly can get extra crowns, to take advantage of it. You know, if your opponent gives up, because sometimes some people don't care, right? Maybe they're like BMing, or they're just like not playing anything because they know they already won. In global tournaments, you should keep playing just because for the tiebreaker, it's really, really nice. It's important to have crowns. All right, this guy's Expo. So, you know, from what I hear from really good Expo players, if the Expo player plays perfectly, RG only has a very, very slight matchup. But honestly, unless you're versus an amazing 2.9 player, when I say that, I mean that's just for 2.9 and 3.0. If you're versus Icepo actually has a slight matchup against RG, but if it's 2.9 or 3.0, which this guy has, RG has slight matchup. And you should have a pretty easy time, like, if we're being honest here, unless you're against, like, one of the best 3.0 or 2.9 players in the game, then you may have a little bit of a struggle. But I feel like if you're against someone who isn't one of the top tier Expo players, it really shouldn't be that difficult. You just have to survive single and just... Okay, that Heal Spirit jumped, or the Ice Spirit, I mean, jumped pretty far. Not sure if that was in its range of what it's supposed to, or how far it's supposed to jump, but, I mean, that looks pretty far to me. And he's gonna go for a defensive expo, which is pretty interesting considering we're not in double yet. I don't normally see that in single. I don't really think it's that good of a play, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think it didn't really do anything for him. You know, he could be just trying to divert my attention to the opposite lane where I have less, you know, where he has more HP on his tower, but it's not really doing anything for him. Like, he's, if anything, just having to spend so much elixir to defend the RG, so I don't know. But we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. No need to be overly aggressive. I mean, this typically ends up being a really long match sometimes just because they can't really get an expo lock, but if they play correctly, you shouldn't really get an RG on top of the tower. Somehow, some way, the expo locked on the hunter and not the RG. Don't really know how that happened, but I guess it's not going to matter too much anyway. And he just fireballed his tower. I don't know what this guy's doing. Yeah, so I think this is pretty safe to say that this isn't a top-tier Expo player, so this kind of proves my point. If they're not a top-tier Expo player, you shouldn't have any issue beating them if it's 2.9 or 3.0. Like, it should be pretty easy. But if they're playing perfect, flawlessly, it could be close, but this should be no problem. Better fireball from him, but the RG still got a shot. And now we can just be aggressive because I feel like his defense is slowly slipping more and more, and just, I don't know, with the lead we have, against a good Expo player, I wouldn't be this aggressive, but this guy's just kind of messing up his defense, and I just feel like we can get away with being a little aggressive. He's probably going to Tesla with the Expo. No? Okay, never mind. I don't know what this guy's doing at this point. But, we only have 50 more seconds left. We may not take his tower, which is okay. But we also could get it. We'll just have to see. RG gets 2 shots, maybe? I think we can get the tower. We just need to do one more fireball and log takes it. Fireball does 172, I believe, and then log does, I don't remember. Wait, does fireball do 172 or does it do more than that? I don't know. It does 170 something. Anyway, 14-0, looking really solid here. I haven't had a game yet that's been too big of a struggle. For me, at least, it doesn't get too difficult until, like, 20 wins, and that's when I, like, really need to focus, But that's why, what I like doing in these global tournaments, why I like having a main account and a mini account, is I can record on my mini accounts when I get further in the global tournament, because since it's my mini account, I don't care about it as much, and then my main account don't record, and I'm, like, zoned in, focused, so I'm, like, playing my best when I get further in the global tournament. So why okay, not usually something I see the opponent open up with a graveyard poison first play of the game, so that was a bit surprising. I didn't need the skeletons on the Musk. That wasn't good. But it's pretty safe to say that I was not expecting him to do that. It's not usually something I see. And if he is using Bard Puck Graveyard, this could be a little bit of a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. We could win. I'm not saying we can't, but luckily, though, that was a horrible E-Wiz, and also he isn't using Bard Puck Graveyard, he's using Bomb Tower Graveyard. which means this isn't a bad matchup at all. But if you were using Barbhug Graveyard, it would be a little bit more difficult. What's good, though, for this RG deck is that Barbhug Graveyard has been kind of slowly drifting out of the meta, so you're not really going to get that matchup so often. But the way I normally play it is I like playing Fishermen's and Hunters same lane as the Barbarian Hut, spawning the Barbarians, and then heal spiriting the Fisherman and the Hunter if they try to a nice pullback with the heal spirit there. So what I like doing is playing a heal spirit if they poison the Fisherman and the Hunter, and then the heal spirit connects to the Barbarians that spawn out of the Barbarian Hut. Hopefully this guy gave up so we can just get more crowns. Nah, he's still trying for some reason. The RG's going to get a shot on the tower, though. So, yeah. I mean, we could actually still get the 2 crown, but he's defending, so there's a chance we don't. Oh my gosh, the Knight. This is just... I feel bad for this guy. This is just... I mean, I knew from the start of the game this guy wasn't really making the right plays. Poison Graveyard that early on. You don't typically, with any sort of Graveyard deck, want to be that aggressive. Graveyard is the type of deck where you, in most matchups, don't even want to play Graveyard until double Elixir, especially if you're using like a heavier Graveyard deck, and certainly not a Graveyard Poison, like first play of the game. That's too much Elixir, too risky of a play, and overall just not a good idea at all. So, 15-0 in this global tournament. Those games were relatively fast, so I'm going to hop into one last game, see if we can make it 16-0 and call it a video there. And then my next video will probably be either going from 16-0 to 20-0, hopefully 20-0. I want to be optimistic, right? On my main account, or maybe my mini account I do it from. Haven't really decided yet, but we'll see. Here we go. I'm going to split Skeleton Dragons. I like it as a starting play. I prefer it a little bit more than Fisherman in the back, just because Fisherman in the back at times can be a little risky if they have Mega Knight or Giant Skeleton. But just kind of a little bit of a pro tip for you guys. You actually can Royal Giant to push. You actually can, if you Fisherman in the back, and if they go for a Giant Skeleton, you actually can RG in front of the Fisherman to push the Giant Skeleton away from the tower. That's a pretty nice tip for you guys. So don't freak out if you Fisherman and the Giant Skeleton gets pulled and you have an RG in cycle, because you can shove the Giant Skeleton off. Fireball's out of rotation, so we're going to go Skeleton Dragons RG at the bridge, because he doesn't have Fireballs, so he has to commit something else to taking them out. And by the time the Musketeer does take them out, they've already gotten a good amount of value. Solid lead here for us. I might have to let the Goblin Brawler get a hit on the tower. It doesn't even really matter anyway, because he already... Okay, that's a bit unfortunate. I guess I'm going to Royal Giant, because he doesn't have Cajun Cycle, and the Fisherman's just going to pull that right on top of the tower. And then we can just Hunter's RG. We don't have to worry about him playing a Fisherman, pulling it away, because he doesn't have a Fisherman in rotation right now. So the RG is going to get a few hits on our tower, but, I mean, our lead right now is kind of ginormous. I mean, you know, he has some damage on both of our towers, but I think it's safe to say we're in the better position right now. So we're just going to Fireball that, try to get away with the Fisherman pulling it into the opposite lane where he has less damage, and we didn't even really need to do that anyway, because the RG didn't even get a single shot on our tower. It was already dead. He's going to load up with another RG, but I mean, we're pretty much ready on defense. We can just Fireball that, and... And that's targeting the wrong thing. That's unfortunate. we'll just say that that was calculated. It was all planned out. We knew that the RG wasn't going to take our tower. But, anyway, 16-0. Nice start to the global tournament. And, yeah, as I said, pretty sure this, in my opinion at least, is the best deck for the global tournament, best deck in the game right now in general. You know, not many things counter it if you play perfectly, and it just, I feel like it's not extremely easy to use, but at the same time, it's not hard to use. I feel like with a good amount of practice, you can have a lot of success with it too. But that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And let me know what decks you guys want me to play, you know, in the rest of the global tournament. If I make a video going to 20 wins, make one going to 25 wins. Let me know what decks you guys want me to see. I mean, this is the best one, so it's really hard to use one that's, like, better than this. But if there's, you know, some sort of other deck that's good in the meta, I'm, of course, open to using it too. So that's going to be it. Thanks again. Until next time, guys.